The American, we have a lot of good quarterbacks. Really obviously happy with the result. There's a lot of things to clean up. On to Memphis, which will be certainly a test.
Temple football gets its first win of the season and had at least 100 fans watching them do it.
Plus, we have a look at the start of basketball season and a special announcement from the NCAA. OwlSports Update may not be live, but it starts right now.
Hello, Owls Nation. Welcome back to another edition of OwlSports Update. Alongside JJ Mahowski, I'm Courtney Murphy. We have a lot of things to discuss about USF and a preview of the next game against Memphis.
Let's get started with this Saturday and a road trip to Tennessee. At 1-1, the Owls are back on the road for what looks to be their toughest test yet with this trip to Memphis to take on the Tigers. Coming off the win versus USF, Temple is looking for back-to-back wins for the first time since November of 2019. And it won't be easy against a Tigers team that put up 50 points in a win last Saturday versus UCF.
Really obviously happy with the result. There's a lot of things to clean up in all three phases of our football team. But we did have some, outstanding efforts. And then on to Memphis, which will be certainly a test. They're a good football team. Obviously, a lot of the same cast of characters from last year that we played here in Philly. The quarterback is back. I know their running back is gone, but they have good backs, good O-line. Certainly, their defense returns quite a few people as well, and they're sound in the kicking game as usual. So it's going to be a big challenge for us, but one I know our guys will be excited for. In the American, we have a lot of good quarterbacks. Like I'm looking at this quarterback, and then they played Central. And then obviously you got the Michelle kid down at SMU, and Russo, I think, is playing at a high level, minus a couple throws here. And I just think the league is really talented offensively right now. And for some reason across America, the defenses are struggling to touch. So I can't put my finger on that for you, but got working to tonight, figure it out, and try to get our guys the best opportunities to be successful and execute.
These two teams match up with even numbers, both allowing 34 points per game. Memphis has the upper hand a bit on the offensive side. This one looks to be a shootout on paper, and a Temple win will be considered an upset, as ESPN numbers have the Tigers with an 88% chance to win.
For more on the preparations for Memphis, for the first time this season, we welcome in Inside the Nest reporter, Josh SAFRAN. Hey, Josh.
Hey, JJ. Thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you so much for coming, Josh. Let's get this started. Memphis is averaging 214 rushing yards per game, and they have a QB who has already thrown more than 1,000 yards in just the first 3 games. But it's probably best for Temple to focus on stopping the run first, correct?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And it's going to be a tall task for a defense that's looking real porous against the run, and especially against a running back like Kenneth Gainwell. Now, Memphis' running back from last year, Antonio Gibson, now gets the majority of the snaps for the Washington football team in the NFL. And this was a guy who was lower than Kenneth Gainwell in the depth chart last season. We're going to need to see a breakout game from the single digits on the D-line. I'm talking about Archibong and Ifeanyi Maiji, and I hope to see a healthy Isaiah Graham-Mobley this weekend. These guys have had huge expectations going into the season, and they're definitely going to need to step it up if they want to improve on their 197 rushing yards per game.
So, Josh, this is clearly a tough opponent. And last weekend, the Tigers took down UCF after coming back from a program record 14-point deficit in the second half. What's the biggest thing that the Owls need on their side this weekend in order to come out victorious?
Yeah, JJ, and that was an extremely impressive win by Memphis. But let's not forget, they gave up 601 yards through the air during that game. And that's got to be Temple's strength so far. Russo's going to need to limit the turnovers. I think he had 2 last game. 1 was a bit controversial. So I think we're trending in the right direction. And these wide receivers, they're some of the best in the whole conference. I think Brandon Mack, Jaden Blue, and Randall Jones, this is the game that he breaks the big one. All that being said, JJ, I don't know if it's going to be enough. I know I got my prediction, 48-29, a big statement win from Memphis, a lot of points. But hey, guys, I would love to be wrong. Thank you guys for having me on the show, and I really do hope I'm wrong this weekend.
Thank you so much for joining us, Josh, and we miss having you around.
Miss you guys.
Temple kicks off at Memphis Saturday at 12 p.m. You'll need an ESPN Plus subscription to watch this game on TV, but you can tune your radio to 97.5 The Fanatic for the game broadcast. And we'll be live tweeting on our handle at OwlSports Update on Twitter.
The Owls do head to Memphis on the heels of a win in their home opener versus USF. There were fans at the games to watch, albeit just 800 family members of the players and coaches. 5 minutes into the game, the Owls get on the board, and it's Jaden Blue with the 5-yard carry for the touchdown. Owls up 7-0. Still first quarter, Bulls answer back Jordan McLeod to Randall St. Felix for a 13-yard score. Owls still up 10-7. Into second quarter, it's another Russo to Blue 13 yards. Blue gives us a happy dance and the lead, 17-14. 90 seconds left in the half. Noah Johnson runs 2 yards for the touchdown, and UCF leads at the half 21-17. The Bulls lead as many as 11 at one point in the second half, but we're going to cut to the last 5 minutes. It's Randall Jones for 13 yards to give Temple an 8-point lead. A minute left, USF gets a 1-yard touchdown to make it a 2-point game. The Bulls go for the 2-point conversion, and the Owls defense says, "Not in my house," to win on homecoming 39-37 final.
Temple is standing out this week in the AAC honors. Linebacker Arnold Ebiketie had 6 tackles and 1 sack to earn American Conference Defensive Player of the Week. Wide receiver Randall Jones had a game-high 81 receiving yards on 8 catches and a touchdown. Wide receiver Brandon Mack moved into the top 10 for career receptions and into the top 6 for all-time receiving touchdowns at Temple.
Anthony Russo and his 71% pass completion and 476 yards so far is earning him a spot in the 2020 Golden Arm Award watch list. This award is presented by the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Educational Foundation. It is awarded annually to the top upperclassman quarterback who is set to graduate. Russo is one of 47 who were placed on the watch list. The winner will be announced on December 21st. Temple's defense gave us a nail-biting finish, stopping at a 2-point conversion with about 1 minute to go. The Owls now have won 4 of the last 5 matches against USF. OwlSports Update's Melanie Smith has your post-game report. Hey, Melanie.
Thanks, Courtney. This past weekend, Coach Carey was happy about the win, but still thinks there's room for improvement. The Owls still need to work on their passes, their defense, and their communication on the field.
It's been almost a year since the Owls last played at the Link, and even though there weren't many who saw the game live, the 2-point win was vital for the Owls in the shortened 8-game season. True, it's not like the Owls were perfect against one of the weaker teams in the AAC, giving up 37 points, but the 2 biggest plays in the game came on defense, the fumble recovery for a touchdown. And of course, the key stop on the 2-point conversion late in the 4th.
Defensively, certainly some things to clean up, but had the 2-point stop when we need to. Talk about situational defense and critical time defense. You know, games come down to 4 or 5 plays. We were on the wrong end of that last week, and this week we were certainly on the right end of that.
The biggest 2 plays came from the defense, but the Owls were most consistent on offense. Russo threw 4 touchdowns, 2 of which came to Jaden Blue.
I think we did a great job running the ball in the second half. I think our wideouts not only played great in the pass game, but in the run game, and I think we hit a bunch of those little quick screens on the outside to Randall Jones and Blue.
The Owls will continue to put in effort to fix some of their mistakes on both sides of the ball for next Saturday's game at Memphis.
The Owls' record now 1-1 this season. In hopes of winning next Saturday's game, the Owls plan to keep fighting and bring their energy from Lincoln Financial Field to Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. I'm Melanie Smith, OwlSports Update. Back to you.
This season, all 19 Division I teams at Temple are wearing a patch on their front right shoulder. The diamond-shaped patch contains the abbreviations BLM and OFJ, which stands for Black Lives Matter and Owls for Justice. Owls for Justice is the newly formed student-athlete organization on campus.
Even at 25% of their members on the field at a time, the Temple Marching Band continues to be, as QB Anthony Russo tweeted, the best band in the country. The band gets everyone hyped and excited with their rhythm and enthusiasm, even when they're virtual. OwlSports Updates Brock Landis lets us in on how the band is still doing this in the age of COVID.
When the Owls returned to the Link on Saturday, they were missing a huge part of their identity. Friends and families of both teams were allowed to attend, but that was about it. No students, no fans, no cheerleaders, and, well, technically, not even the band.
Like the environment that we're able to create to, produce these shows and work together to make that is such a huge resource.
But of course, it's 2020 and these shows are no longer allowed at the Link, at least not live. But that doesn't mean the band isn't doing its thing. Their pregame and halftime shows on the Jumbotron still showed off their work. Temple athletes are not the only ones that have to navigate around COVID on a daily basis. The marching band follows strict protocols yet meets regularly to rehearse. The band is now broken down into 4 separate groups, which limits the social aspect and increases everyone's workload.
We had to keep in mind, first and foremost, everybody's safety and making sure that everybody felt comfortable being at band. And so far, it's been going really well. It's definitely been really something to adjust to, but I think everybody's been doing a really great job following all of the guidelines that are in place and being really flexible with the changes we have to make on the fly. With
only 3 home games remaining for the Owls, there are no plans for the band to return just yet. Reporting from Temple University's main campus, I'm Brock Landis, OwlSports Update.
The men's basketball team is getting its season started late next month with a schedule that hasn't been finalized yet. In the meantime, second-year head coach Aaron McKee will have a lot of work to do after losing 4 starters in the offseason. OwlSports Update's Jack Lynch has more. Hey, Jack.
Thanks, JJ. The AAC recently announced that they are redesigning the 2020-2021 basketball schedule, shaping the season into a 20-game interconference double round robin. While the exact schedule is still not out yet, the Owls are working hard to be ready for whenever it's time to play. Aaron McKee is going into his second season as head coach, and the Owls are looking to bounce back from a 6-12 record last season in conference. It was the 3rd time in 4 seasons Temple has finished below 500 in the AAC. Now, in 2020, the team is deeply restructured after losing 10 players to graduation or to transfer, leaving McKee with many new faces in an ever-changing COVID season.
I think everybody is trying to pivot now and adjust to the times, adjust to the situation.
Coach McKee is well aware of the high level of talent that Temple has to offer, and 20 games against AAC opponents will prove it. Seniors J.P. Mormon II and Devondre Perry are actually the only 2 seniors on the roster.
We've just been learning and watching our past 3 years, so now it's our turn to step up, lead these guys onto wherever we can go. As far as we can go, it'll be up to us too. So I think we're ready for it. We're ready to take that challenge head on. I just want to be known as a winner. I got the opportunity to leave a legacy here, me and JP both. It gives us a fresh start, gives us a chance to build a culture, the culture that Coach McKee's trying to build.
The Owls will continue to work hard and prepare for their opening game, even though they still don't know when, where, or who that might be against. At the Liacouras Center, I'm Jack Lynch, OwlSports Update.
We got one coach feeling it this upcoming season. Women's head coach Tanya Cordoza sums up the excitement as well as everyone. But just like the men, however, we still don't have a firm schedule for women's season either.
In a year that has been so influential for social media and racial change in the United States, the Temple University Diamond Gems are breaking barriers of their own. OwlSports Update's Alexis Beckett has more on the one man among the women. Hey, Alexis.
Whether you see them dancing at halftime or throwing t-shirts into the crowd, you know who the Diamond Gems are. This year, you'll see a new change to the roster.
Each year, the Temple University Diamond Gems have 27 members, or more precisely, 27 women. Now, for the first time in program history, one of those members is a male. It did take some time for freshman Nasir Pittman to fall in love with the dance. It happened after seeing the Nutcracker, but it didn't take him any time at all to be the first male to dance for the Diamond Gems.
We're dancing with girls. We can't be outdanced by girls. You have to blend in or even stand out. So
Nasir trained at several dance schools here in Philadelphia and already knew about Temple's dance team long before he came to college.
I've been at Temple games watching the Diamond Gems since 2014. And I didn't even know that they were this big until I got into the corporation myself.
The Diamond Gems are stepping into a new direction, and Nasir has already inspired other young men to challenge the norm.
I just hope I do inspire other boys. I've actually got reached out to by other dancers that want to come to Temple that are men. And they were like, oh, I'm going to audition next year. But I know my family and my closest supporters are really proud of me. Even just followers on Instagram are really proud of me. And it just makes me happy that they're watching and that I'm making a change.
Nasir is just such a great addition to an already diverse school here at Temple University. JJ and Courtney, back to you guys.
Thanks, Alexis. A successful bid by the city of Philadelphia has earned Temple a spot as host for the NCAA championships in women's rowing. This takes place in 2023. The championships will include all 3 NCAA divisions. It is set to take place on the Cooper River in Camden County, New Jersey.
Hey, Owls fans, we want to hear from you. Last week, we asked if you felt comfortable returning in person for Temple games, and 70% of you said yes. For the final 3 home football games, the fan capacity at the Link will max out at 7,500. No word yet from Temple if it will offer up this many seats or continue to scale back. For our Twitter poll this week, we're asking you who you believe is the toughest opponent for the Owls coming up. Your choices are Memphis, Tulane, SMU, and UCF. Not to sway you, but the SMU Mustangs are the only team in this bunch still undefeated at 5-0. While you're there answering, be sure to follow us on Twitter at OwlSportsUpdate.
Well, our fun has now come to a close, but be sure to tune in next Thursday on TUTV for Inside the Nest as Adam Cornelli, Dom Gillespie, and Ray Dunn give us more on Temple football.
Brooklyn Vaughn and Jackson Neal will have a brand new episode of OwlSports Update on Friday. Until then, be sure to read more on Temple sports on our website, OwlSportsUpdate.com, and follow us on social media at OwlSportsUpdate for live coverage through the weekend. For Courtney Murphy, I'm JJ Mahowski. Have a great weekend, everybody.